Let's
Get
get
wild
wild.
with your host.
Hey, I'm Doug Howorko.
And I'm Leanne Campbell here out in BC. And this week, we're going to have a wonderful reflection on Chapter 7 in Breaking the Chokehold with Doug Howorko. What's it all about? Tell us all about it.
Well, Leanne, I'm really excited. This is Chapter 7, Step 7 of my 7 simple steps to bust into the life and business you love. And even though it's Step 7, it's actually the most important step of achieving and designing a life and business you love. So as we've been talking in our podcast here, if you're ready to find more purpose in your life, live your passion, and possibly unleash your talents, gifts, experiences, and skills to the world, you're gonna need to have energy. So step 7 is all about living energized. And I want to start off today's presentation with a great quote, and it's my quote actually, and from studying from other masters. And so basically it goes, nurture your body with the fuel it needs, as you will never grow any higher than your energy level. And I can tell you from experience, energy, it is the king of confidence. It's the king of being able to do it all, looking after your children, maybe family commitments that you have, working full-time, building your side hustle, because if you don't have that energy, you're going nowhere. You're not going to have positive thoughts. You're not going to take positive actions, and you're going to probably just want to lay around on the couch and watch Netflix and chill, if you will, which isn't bad sometimes as well. So anyhow, I just want to kind of start off my presentation, and I've got my sort of first subject line is, you can't drive a Ferrari without gas. And the same thing, I kind of look at my body as my red, shiny Ferrari. But the funny thing is, about probably 15 years ago, the red, shiny Ferrari that I have now was an old beat up Nova, rusting out. Because at one time, I actually weighed about 205 pounds, and it was for a brief moment, but I was in the wrong mindset, and I was using food for emotion and as opposed to using it for energy and vitality. And I was in the worst shape of my life, and I was so unfit that I remember trying to bend over to tie my shoes, and it actually had so much pressure around my stomach and my breathing, and it was the most awful experience I could ever have. And actually, because of my health, it also translated into some very, very poor and pathetic goals. And I remember just coming home after you have dinner and you plop on the couch and you watch TV after work. And it really wasn't living a good life on practical terms. And I recognized, though, once I started studying about health and wellness and vitality, that there is a definite link between our inner world, and that's our health and our vitality and our mental attitude, and how energies flow in manifesting our outer world. And so when I was out of shape, like I said, I was tired and lazy and bored, and that's precisely what my life was like. But then, and my Ferrari, my Nova, was really parked in the car. I couldn't even ride even my poor vehicle because my health was so bad. But move 15 years to now, I'm 185 pounds, physically fit. I'm in the best shape of my life, feeling full of energy and possibility, and living life to the max, and designing the life and business I love, and ultimately pushing for the income, lifestyle, and freedom I desire. And I owe it all to being able to live energized and having my health. And I also just want to share that, feeling good and looking good fuels living good. The two go hand in hand, and achieve my goals that I have. And they're huge. I needed to get healthy and I needed to get fit. And so I started fueling my body with daily nutrition, proper exercises, and as well as strengthening my mind and body connection to manifest my best life. And health and wellness and energy became my number one priority in order to make sure I had actions in order to succeed. And so the healthier I got physically, and the stronger I grew mentally. And so then I was able to take courageous action. So, you only grow, as I made that quote, you only grow as high as your energy level is so true. And, health and wellness, it gives you the positive energy and the mindset, which affects your beliefs. And then beliefs affect the decisions and the actions that you take. And then it affects the direction of your life and your ultimate destiny. And so the proper use of food, nutrition, exercise, and mindset can set you free and create an exciting and prosperous life. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story here about how important this is, because plastic surgeons often say that the results of their work, when people are doing plastic surgery on people to look better, it alters the person's psyche in their brain just as much as their skin and or their appearance. And actually, newfound health and wellness focus can increase your inner self-image without plastic surgery. And like feeding your body with nutrition, exercise, and new experiences will have the same positive effects on your identity and self-image and your future. And so, like I've said, your energy level and your image of yourself is key to your personality and behavior. And once you change that, your health and your appearance, you inevitably change your personality and your behavior. So the thing is, you have to expand your energy, what's possible, and your health and vitality are the premise, a base upon which your entire personality and behavior and even your circumstances that you create for yourself are built from. So let me explain a little bit more about what I do. So nutritional supplements for me, because I was never the best eater. I actually have got some great eating habits now. I make sure that I eat 70% pretty much high water content foods, which are fruits, vegetables, and sprouts, but I still eat everything. I'm a meat eater. I still drink some milk. I'll eat candy bars, eat chips, but I really watch. I really create a real balanced approach. But I want to share some really crazy data. And according from the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation, the life expectancy in Spain, the people there have the longest life expectancy at 87.4 years, and that's by the 2040. The US is expected to tumble down their life expectancy to 79.8 years per person on average, and they're moving from 43rd to 64th place on the life expectancy rankings. Canada is even dropping from 17 to 27 in the world ranking as well. And the most important reason for the drop of all high income countries is mainly due to the challenges with use of opioids, heart disease, and other chronic ailments. And it's becoming because we're living a chaotic lifestyle, we're not eating healthy, and we're putting on weight and becoming obese. So this information I just want to share, it really helps demonstrate the urgency that we must have in changing our eating habits and our lifestyle habits. And nutrition, number one, is the most important thing for our immune system to create the energy, the action, and therefore our sustained business success if you have ambition to be an entrepreneur. But the funny thing is, in order to get the right nutrition, so we actually have to eat almost through juicing and eating. We have to almost get the right energy and nutrition in our body. About 20 pounds of fruits and vegetables need to be broken down and juiced, but that becomes a lot to eat and a lot to do. And that's why I recommend taking a clean source, non-GMO, organic nutritional supplements that are premier if you aren't eating well, or you live a very busy lifestyle and it just can't seem to fit in all the nutrition that you have. But the funny thing is, we got to eat well. But the problem with eating well is that, according to Dr. Tony K. Snyder, and she's a PhD, is that the food we eat no longer contains the required nutrient levels for excellent health. And studies of over 90% of North Americans are deficient in one or more vitamins, even with enriched foods that we have. And she goes on further. The fact is that plants are now treated with chemicals and pesticides and diminishing nutrient levels. And even the animals that we eat are not allowed to roam free or eat nutrient-rich wild grains and grasses they once consumed. So, and we're also even feeding our livestock hormones and antibiotics that promote growth. And so, and additionally, with what's happening with our food, we actually are increasing, because of our modern lifestyle, even though we have so many great luxuries, we're exposed to more chemicals and hazardous toxins. We're all living with way too much stress, maybe having two-income households. We don't get enough sleep. We don't do enough exercise, and we live in a chronic state of inflammation. So these are real strategic reasons as to why we actually all need to take premier quality nutritional supplements. Now, there's a whole wide range, and I want people to do some research. If somebody wants to talk to me about nutritional supplements, I'd love to talk to them after this podcast. But really, there's a whole whack of them out there. Some of them don't even dissolve in your body. So anyhow, there's a lot of research that you got to do if you want to get into nutritional supplements. And the other thing that you have to do besides nutritional supplements, you got to build physical strength. And I can't tell you enough about being able to move your body. Our bodies were built to move. And for me, I do 60 minutes daily, each and every day, almost 7 days a week, doing some sort of weightlifting, brisk walks, running, pushing myself physically, even playing sports. And so I use this to give myself the energy to do it all. And it fuels my psychology and better prepares me for the challenges and opportunities. And so another couple of quick tips that you can all do right now is, just like I said, keep moving. 30 minutes a day is enough to gain new cardio wellness and circulation. Schedule exercise in like it's a meeting. Like, we all don't miss meetings or don't miss lunch, but schedule your exercise in so you make it happen. And you have to approach exercise as well with a very, very relaxed ease, right? Because aim for healthy habits 80% of the time. You're never going to be perfect. You want to have those blowout days where you can just eat as much as you want as well. But also enjoy exercise. And exercise doesn't always have to be the high intensity workouts or the long 90-minute fitness. You can actually do things like tennis and shooting hoops and hiking and yoga and dance classes. There's so many things that you can do to make exercise fun. And lastly, I just want to be able to say, Leanne, is that another one element is for our health is we have to live a balanced lifestyle. And this is a challenge for everybody, especially if you're working full time or you have family that you're raising. You're trying to build a side hustle. You're also trying to go out and live life a little bit. So how do you put it all into perspective? And it is something that you just have to continue to work on and identify where your lifestyle needs balancing. It's always going to be out of balance. It's normal. Just recognize when it is out of balance and adjust accordingly. Now, make time for those stress relieving activities, like I said, in creating a balanced lifestyle. Get that fitness in. And like I said, do other things that build a quality of life, even things like taking a hot bath or listening to music or being spiritual and spending time outdoors and doing activities with your children and even hitting a movie and volunteering. These are all such wonderful things we can all do to improve our quality of life. But know your boundaries and always get good at saying no. Many people struggle with doing it all. And one of the reasons is because they don't know how to say no to things that are just going to waste their time. So with that, Leanne, I just want to be able to say it takes practice to live a balanced life, but it's vital for your overall health and well-being. And the struggle is real. It's real for everybody, but with commitment and focus and with just practice, we can all live a balanced lifestyle. Thanks, Leanne. Just over to you. And I really look forward to some of your tools and techniques that you can provide us to ensure that we do continue to live energized.
Well, I love how you give so much in such a short period of time. And a couple of things that were coming through reflection while I've made some notes. We are working through so many things, having a side hustle. Why we can work through that, audience, the key to all of this understanding of how to flow. We were talking about the razor's edge last week. We talked about the breathing. We talked about chakras. Talking about this is coming into the heart and trusting those relationships. Like, I'm nurturing a relationship right here with Doug. I'm showing up after my job. I've already had a long day, but there's still vitality and momentum because of the connection I have with Doug. So the connection also is very important to understand. You need to be able to listen to yourself, come into your heart. If it's yoga or meditation, or if it's getting connected to your higher self, if it's slow movements, and then watching how that brings you into natural ways of really just like going pick up a skipping rope and skipping. So the flow state, we've been talking about the peaks and valleys through this too, through these 7 podcast series. is our friendships have a flow state. How do we root our friendships? How do we get more intimate and connected to a better world is how we create our connections. And we got to feel it's the right connection. And like Doug was mentioning about the no, you already know, your inner self tells you no. That doesn't mean that tomorrow there may be a yes with somebody, but you got to listen to your inner guidance. So when you were breathing in the beginning, we talked about how to just listen to that breath, how to connect to yourself. When you want to hear the no is when you're connected to yourself. So intentionally making that intention first thing in the morning and before you go to bed and you rest your head to have a really good REM sleep is having that deeper connection to yourself, your gut, your inner guidance. And then it says, you hear it, no. How you act upon it with the razor's edge is jumping, right? In that moment, we want to be able to jump, hear it. How can we be more connected to ourselves? So these methodologies of studying your chakras, learning a little bit more about, energy and how it flows, there's actually something natural that happens with life. It's protecting you. And the more that you trust it, the two words that my Zen master gave me on this path were trust and love. Because if you don't trust, how do you love? And then how do you go deeper into the heart of love? And that love, once it becomes more expansive, it allows all the other things that you're doing, whether you're writing a book, whether you're going to a meeting, whether you're taking your kids out, it replenishes you. And then also your body is talking to you and is saying, well, I just need a power nap. I'm so ecstatic about this life that I'm choosing to be so involved with, because life is the treasure. But I'm going to go back into dream state. So we talked about dream state before. The joy is unlimited. The joy is eternal once you connect to yourself. And you use these methodologies when you sleep, when you watch your breath. The key is the breath. And then you use the momentum in expanding yourself and overcoming fear of knowing your value and being trust and love in your process of being this magnificence, this gift of life, to write, to read, to expand. And when the mind says no, if it's the mind, remember the difference between the mind and then your inner guidance saying no are two different things. And how you're going to be able to judge those two things is how you feel. Because when your gut says no, you cannot move away from that feeling. When your mind says no, you're like, is that a memory? Is that a thought that I've already had? Because I'm really not feeling it. But when your gut tells you no, listen to it. And so these are some of the slow movements that we can take with, whether you're dancing or you're going into your fitness. Remember, the key is if you're not doing it, are you doing your 1% today, 2%, 3%, 4%? Where are you on the menu about living the life that you want to live, and how are you implementing a little bit more of that every day? Another thing is falling into grace and rising in love. So the balance, Doug was talking about the balance. Falling into grace is feeling that feeling of connecting to yourself and that flow state with source, the peace that comes from it. Just sit and observe. Today on my lunch break, I was just like, I went out to this place that I wasn't there before in the trees, and there was a little mouse, and there's so much appreciation because of all these practices that I do. The here and now continually has appreciation. Life is the gift, and that's where we can become in union with the divine. So we fall into grace. We have the ability from those moments to rise in love. Those two things, trust and love, rise in love, build those connections even more. Like me and Doug are building this connection. Our friendship is even better every day, every week. We can feel each other. Now take that out into the world with your business. Trust what you're thinking from your inner guidance. You get an idea. You are your inner genius. Grab it, transform it, believe in it, put power into it, just like a relationship. Love it, nurture it, water it, and think golden. So the last thing I want to talk about here is between all your chakras, I've been learning more about the 12 dimensions because this is about 28 years of meditation, that the more that I ascend, the golden body that I keep engaging with, and I keep connecting through my astral travels, and I keep connecting with myself and really feeling strong and confident and eternal, is golden. The light reflection is white, and I experience peace, but I experience the integration process of being golden. you know, and all the ancient wisdom is all about that golden thing. Why gold was so important. Why is it so important to us as a mineral? You know, it's because think golden. Nobody's in your way. You're unstoppable. That's where you break the chokehold. The chokehold that Doug is teaching us about is to become golden. Become golden so that your confidence is walking with you moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. And all the great masters. Why do you see golden Buddhas in Thailand? Why are they all gold? Why do they offer gold and frankincense and myrrh to Jesus? Become golden. That's the color therapy. That's the energy. That's the confidence. That's what changes your mindset. And when you're not feeling that way, remember, people here are here to love you. So when you really feel that there's something that you were hurt or something put you away from feeling golden, the only two things you got to remember is trust and love. Somehow or another, somebody's going to reach out to you. All the homeless that are on the streets out there, somebody reaches out, because we are meant to be compassionate. We are designed as loving beings. The worst of the worst of the worst people that have ever been on this earth, somehow or other, there's a spark of love in them. So whatever the amount of spark that you have, stay golden. That's my message of today. And hopefully you enjoyed it. We've had 7 wonderful talks. I'm so grateful for Doug. I'm so grateful for the growth that you inspire me. And then we have an opportunity to share this from province to province.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Leanne. That was super enlightening. Just as you learned from me, I learned from you, and I appreciate our friendship and connection. And I just continue to look forward to what other great, wonderful things we can innovate and offer to our listeners as well. So thanks for your commitment.
So remember, guys, that's 7 series of Let's Get Wild. We're going to probably utilize these to come back and to even redefine ourselves, because we're growing constantly. And every time we take blissed out, the next moment of totality with the razor's edge, we have the ability to transform the next moment. So thank you, Doug. It's been such a beautiful, wonderful journey with you in these last 7 podcasts. And I'm so grateful for you.
As well. Thank you, Leanne.